We had the course proper gallops this morning. Tell us what you and your dad wanted them to do with Wisdom of Water.
Yep, so he worked up outside of Maslow, just done a pretty sharp piece of work over 600 metres in company, and we'll leave him alone for the rest of the week basically. Run up in pretty slick time, as he always does when you sort of let him go a bit, so you know, got a good bit of benefit out of it. Didn't have a great deal of a blow, but just had a typical maintenance gallop for what we do, and it was pretty good. He's always been extremely sharp, so it's great to have a really nice colt in the barn. Saturday's probably the next step. You know, if he could knock a stakes race over, that'd be great, and then we sort of go to the JJ full of confidence a couple of weeks later, and that'll give us enough time to sort of have him ready for the 1400 as well.
What about the Gold Coast Guineas, 1200 metres? I guess a horse like the Odyssey and Hightail look well handicapped under the conditions, the set weights here, but by gee, you're going to have some numbers in the race by the looks of it.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll just accept with all of those that are in. Yeah, both those horses that you mentioned, very classy, and set weights conditions does help, but we go there with horses that are in good form. BARODA, really good winner last start. If she lines up, she's also in Sydney in the English Guineas, but we'll just have a look at that race as well. FISTICUFFS has been carrying big weights his last couple, and that's anchored him a bit, so I'm really looking forward to him coming back to 57 kilos. I think that'll be ideal.
Tell us about his work this morning. I think he was the first horse out.
Yep.
He looked good to me, charging to the line.
Yeah, he's always a really sharp track worker, so that was pretty, stock standard for him. He's not overly big, Michael, so coming back in weight is going to suit him down to the ground, and I'm expecting a hugely improved performance on what he's done his last two, just because he's carried 60 kilos and he's been sort of anchored by them.
And how did Ruka work this morning, solo?
Yeah, he was good. Tracked up another horse of ours, Great Keppel. We've had blinkers on him. I just think maybe going to 1200. We had winkers on him this morning and his work seemed to work nicely, so happy with him. Brad Stewart on, which is a big plus. I'm hopeful he gets the best out of him because he's a pretty classy colt.
And I see where Zacatag had a solo gallop this morning. He's entered everywhere.
Yeah, she's in absolutely everywhere. Same thing. We could even duck all of those, send her to Sydney for the Denise's Joy, but in good order, rock hard fit, and any weather about for her would certainly help.
Okay, and what's the latest on the mares, the fillies and mares with the silk stocking?
Yep, Fine is the power. She's sort of making her way through the grades up here, 2 from 2 for us. She couldn't be going any better, so I think she deserves a crack at black type. I'm very hopeful she gets a run, because I think she can make her presence felt. She's going along pretty sharply. The Pine's working her way to full fitness. Might have just taken a couple of runs to get to that, and as I mentioned previously, any weather about for her Saturday will suit. TARDIS in a similar boat. We might put blinkers on her. She's never had a gear change in her life. A couple of bits of work in blinkers has been super sharp, so it's very important that these fillies are going there at their peak, trying to get a bit of black type, because it's obviously so important for later on. All sort of been aimed towards this day. It's basically our second biggest day at home here, so we like to be trying to win on these days, and they'll all go there in pretty good health.
We can check the acceptances tomorrow when they come out in the morning, but at this stage, give us another one for Saturday. As you say, it's your home track, the stable's flying. We want one more, Trent. Come on.
Give you one at odds. Probably Thine is the power. Couldn't be any happier with her work. She looks outstanding. First 2 runs she looked fair, and she still performed super. So she's at her peak now and ready to go, and looking forward to Saturday with her.